Today I'm changing out a motherboard for a Mac Professional 250 Plus moving head. I've changed a number of components already on this unit, trying to find out what the problem is, and today I'm changing the motherboard. So I've actually just disconnected the whole thing already, taken loads of photos of where all the different ribbon connectors go into the right places. Most of them are marked, as you can see there: Robo, Prism, Dim, Focus. Take a photo of them and then you'll know exactly where they go back. Be very careful how you remove them. What you want to do is use a pair of long nose pliers like this and hold on to the plastic plug itself to pull it out, rather than obviously holding on to these cables that are right here, because that could do some damage. And then you need a very small little socket here to be able to remove these 6 screws that fix the motherboard onto the main unit here. So I'm going to just swap this out for another one that I have here, the motherboard of which I know is working because the whole unit works. I'm going to swap the motherboard over right now for that one. If that fires it up, then probably that means that this unit is terminal, really, or because it's cost prohibitive to replace the motherboard on it. Most of these components are exchangeable and replaceable in a very easy way, because if you're a little bit practical anyway, because most of it's not integrated, it's modular, and they've designed it that way so that you can change all the parts on it at any point and get them working. So that's really helpful. The only thing that is integrated, of course, is the circuit board. There's loads of stuff on there. The main motherboard goes, then you have an issue. But otherwise, some of these smaller components and little circuit boards can still stop the unit working, but are easier to replace. So just going to swap that out now, and what you've got to be careful of here is keeping all the cables in place, going in through the unit, and so we really need 3 hands here. But anyway, we want to just carefully remove the board. Oh, I've missed one plug there, the LS1. Okay. A second, just try and prop that up there for a second. Just going to get my long nose pliers here again and just gently slide that out. And then take the board sideways through all the cables. Very careful not to snag anything. Okay, so that's all the ribbon connectors reconnected again. Just double check them. Just note there are places like here where you've got it says Rogo or Robo in there. Just next to it, you'll see that there are 2 empty pins. Don't try forcing that one into there thinking that's where it goes because it's the first one, because it won't actually fit. You can try as long as you like, but it won't fit, and you could bend some pins and things like that. There's also another one up there just under the pan plug as well, you can see right here. Otherwise, everything slots back in together. Little word of advice, it might sound a bit amateur, but you might want to not take a break while you're doing these things. It just helps you to keep a track of where each of the contacts were and each of the plugs. It does make life a bit easier. So I'm just going to fire this up now and see if it works. If it is the motherboard, then this won't work. What I've done is I've put the old one back inside the working unit. So the suspected faulty motherboard has gone back inside an otherwise fully working unit, because if it doesn't work then obviously that identifies, whereas if I put the new one, the working one back into the unit that doesn't work, if I change the motherboard, I'm still looking for another component, and I don't want there to be any possibility that a component that's malfunctioning in the base here could, I don't know, damage the motherboard, for example, because of some kind of electrical issue. So I'm putting the old one back in here. I guess you could argue that likewise, if there's a problem with the motherboard here, it could potentially damage something else in the unit, but I believe that isn't the case. That wouldn't happen. But anyway, here we go. So about to fire it up, make sure everything's clear, no electrical issues, no plates touching anything that shouldn't be. And let's take a look at the display when we switch on. Yeah. That pretty much tells us what we thought. We do have 3 LEDs on the board. 4 LEDs on the board. So, okay, it's just fired up the lamp, but it took a long time to get there. And the display's still not on, and that's occasionally what it was doing with the other unit, so yeah, there's definitely still an issue with that. Looks like, yeah, the lamp is starting to strike, but it's still not firing up the unit. It's a great shame. So definite problem there with the motherboard. What I'm going to do now is to fire up the new motherboard in the unit that wasn't working, just to make absolutely sure there's nothing else wrong with this unit, and that way then I can know that if I can fix the motherboard or get a new one, the unit will come back to life. Okay, the motherboard we know is working, is now in the old unit, and fire that one up now and see if it confirms that the motherboard is fine. There's life there straight away. Mac250 and so on. Startup procedures begun. Now this unit we've never actually had in full working order. It's second hand. There are 4 LEDs on the board there, as before. But for some reason this other one here, even with 4 LEDs, doesn't show up. It doesn't work, so I'm just going to make sure that that kicks over the lamp. If indeed it has a working lamp in it, that's a good point. It's set on auto. Yeah. Okay, there we go, the lamp is striking now. So that's in full working order. It is a motherboard problem. Pain in the neck. So the only thing you're left to do at that point is really to have a look at it and see if there's anything very obviously wrong with it, but I can't see that happening, so probably going to just drink my tea and think about it. Tea. Solver of all things, that isn't it, really? All kinds of problems.